Hi guys. So I wanted to hop on this quick video today and talk a little bit about living your life by design rather than by default. So if you're living your life by default, you kind of just fell into whatever you're doing. You fell into your career, you fell into your relationship, you fell into where you're living. You just kind of happened. You didn't really think about what you wanted, but this is what you ended up with. So, if that sounds like you, I want to ask you a question. Are you happy with what your life has become by default? Or are there things that you would like to change? So, a couple years ago, actually it was more than a couple years ago, it was about 5 years ago, I decided I really wanted to live my life by design. And when I say by design, I mean by how God wants it to be. And with that said, I also really recognize that God sometimes puts dreams in our heart for a reason. And when we listen to Him and trust what He's telling us and take the steps of faith that He's telling us to take, man, your life can be beautiful. And it can be lived by His design and not by default or even by your design, because His design is going to be so beautiful and going to be the desires of your heart. So a few years ago, I really felt this pull to want to come and live on the beach. And so I asked somebody that I trusted to really hear from God, and I hear from God pretty clearly. But I always like to get confirmation for things. So I had prayed into this. I really felt like God was saying to make some moves to make this happen. And the word that she gave me from the Lord was so specific and so spot on to what He had already told me that I was like, okay, I'm just going to believe for this. And my husband and I took some serious steps of faith to end up where we are, living across the street from the beach. So I just want to encourage you today that God is no respecter of persons. And if you want to receive the desires of your heart, first of all, delight yourself in the Lord. As it says, if you delight yourself in the Lord, He will give you the desires of your heart. And second is to really get before God and in the presence of God, ask yourself what you really want. What do you want your life to look like in 5 years? And write those things down. Write them down. And then put them before God and say, God, is this your will for me? And if you're not sure if you're hearing Him correctly, I can definitely help you with that. That is exactly what I do, is help women to hear God's voice more clearly and get clarity on their calling, help them receive refreshing and restoration in God's presence so that they can take those steps of faith that God is calling them to take. So if this is interesting to you guys, I invite you to follow more closely, join my Facebook group, check me out on Facebook, and step into what God is calling you to do. Thanks for watching.